Give me a little quick intro about what you do, and then we're going to look at a video.
I am a travel journalist, get to travel the world for a living. Places, just got back from Antarctica.
I know, I want to hear about Antarctica.
So I get to be creative in the world.
Yep. So traveling, being creative, it sounds like a dream job. Some of it is. We'll talk about that and some of the other stuff. But let's take a look at a video of what you do. So click. There we go. Click.
Just landed in Denver, the Mile City. Ready for adventure?
So this is the design district. Seriously feel like we're inside of bubble wrap or something?
I'm surrounded by super trees.
Oh my gosh, wow. We're knee deep in the bushes.
Whoa, hello. Whoa.
Say cheese.
Cheese. Ready for my close-up.
We have matching hats. Twins. So this walk snakes around, zigzags back and forth up the mountain.
This is otherworldly. Now, what to wear? This, or this.
Today I'm going crazy for cranberries.
But no matter the adventure, we'll walk away with a great story.
Oh, we got company on my backpack. Oh, he took my sunglasses. No.
Seriously?
Hashtag cuter on a scooter.
The Tusker.
I love him so much. This doesn't get better than that. And I just found another one.
All right, that is great stuff. Round of applause for Jules. We could talk about a lot of those destinations. I want to talk to you about Sri Lanka. I want to talk to you about Antarctica, but we're not going to do a travel log here. We're going to talk about how you make all that stuff. So what I find is fascinating is all that stuff so that you showed there, very professionally done. It looks like you've got a crew with you. It looks like you're making great stuff. Got like, how many people travel with you?
Most of the time it's only me. So it's crazy. I'm one woman show. I get to be the camera woman and carry everything. I'm a mule. I'm the accountant. I'm making sure I spend correctly, all the things.
So talk to me a little bit about what it's like to be a travel journalist and what brought you into it. And then do you still like it?
I still love it. It's a dream job. I mean, it's a job that I completely invented. It was not on LinkedIn. Like, hey, do you want to be a travel journalist? Right. But the idea of having your own show and being the creative, creator, being able to control all the elements is just so magical. So I love getting a chance to put on a lot of different hats when I'm out in the world.
Oh, we'll talk about some of that, but tell me about the platforms you post on. Where are you putting the content that you create?
Yeah, it's interesting because I always post on YouTube and Instagram. It's like a portfolio. It's like a living resume, but it's also a diary because I want other people to share into the kind of adventures that only I get to experience. So that's kind of one of the things. If you don't have friends and family that you're bringing on the trips, I actually really like to bring my camera so that I can share that experience with more people.
What do you travel with? I'm looking at your bag over there, which is also pink. Talk about your gear. Like, what do you pack? How much do you bring with you? What's your rig look like?
I mean, I know people think like, oh, she's a little girl, but like, actually I'm like super strong. I carry so much stuff. I'm always with a heavy backpack. I have, multiple cameras with me because I always want lots of angles and lots of options. So I definitely don't pack light, but I pack well. I'm very efficient. Like if I ever drive my car somewhere, I mean, there is not an inch that's not being utilized. So that's my strategy, is just really, doing the most with what I can.
Okay. So, I see a suitcase. I see a bigger bag. If you look at those two bags, is that your general kit or is it more when you travel? Yeah.
Yeah. The pink suitcase is not only my favorite color, and it's a smart suitcase.
I would never have guessed.
Yeah. You can, I can charge my phone with my suitcase, but also I hide a lot of camera gear in there. So sometimes I'll bring my backpack and I'll put the whole backpack in there, because it's just easier to push it around depending on the situation. But yeah, it's a lot of fun to have stuff that you like to work with.
You think about it, you're flying off, you were just in Antarctica, you're flying Sri Lanka, you were stuff there from Singapore, other places. What percentage of the stuff, the space that you pack is gear versus clothes?
I know there's this funny little video we made about NAB's show and how Ryan packs all the gear and I only pack pink clothes. And
Ryan over there at studio.
Yeah, my friend Ryan, my co-host Ryan. But the truth is I do pack only pink clothes, but I also bring a lot of gear. So it's a lot of times do I want this outfit or do I want my 70-200? And then I bring everything.
And then it all comes. All right, let's talk specifically about some of the gear. You carry two cameras with you, right?
Yes.
What are you carrying?
I have the Canon EOS R and the the EOS R5 and the EOS R5. Wait, the EOS R5C and the R5. I have all of them.
Okay, so you have two Canon EOSs that you bring with them.
Yes.
Are they relatively similar, or are they different and they do different duty out there?
Well, it's basically because I had the R5C, and when I upgraded, I kept the old R5. So that's why they're the two best cameras they have that do the job. And if I was to buy new cameras, I would probably get two R5Cs so that they're identical. But I like having the two different ones because one is primarily photo camera and one is a hybrid. It's a photo camera and a cinema camera. So I really have a lot of options because I'm always shooting behind the scenes content of my shoots and the actual content. So having the two cameras allows me to get multiple options.
So you do stills and video, a lot of both when you're out there in the field, right?
Like nobody ever hires me to do stills and video, but I always get stills because I want to have Instagram photos and I want to have photos for my website. So it's like I'm always getting like the 10 seconds of the shot and switching over to photo. So I have some other memories. So it's fun.
Do you ever do anything with your phone when you're in the road?
I do. I often am like whipping it out so I can get a cool selfie or something. And a lot of times like that's the camera in your hand, but I definitely don't rely on my phone because I'm always running out of space. I'm always running out of battery. So I like having a real camera because I can manage the whole workflow of making vlogs, going back into Premiere Pro and editing. So it's the whole system that's better for me. I love cameras. You have a lot of control too.
Yeah. So, talk about microphones. You've got to sound good out there too and capture the sounds of the jungle or the sounds of the city.
Yeah.
How are you capturing sound, both your own voice and the other sounds around you?
Good question, because it looks easier than you think. Like I always have a shotgun mic. I have some kind of shotgun on the camera, but I'm also wired. So I'm often hot and I like have a lavalier hiding under my clothes and I'm rolling, it with a recorder. Usually the new ones like the Tascam, DR10 Pro, is raw audio. So it's 32-bit. And so in case I scream, I'm not ruining the audio. So I'm able to keep a real, good backup of all the sounds in case something happened to the shotgun mic. So I'm still very professional, even though it looks really easy and breezy. Oh,
so that's great. So you've got the Tascam as your primary audio. That's what you use in most of the stuff. But because you've always got this thing on your, I guess, hip or something, it isn't transmitting anything, but it just sits there and records.
Yeah, it's not transmitting.
Yep.
So it's basically just rolling if I have it on. And I don't have to worry, if I got that or not, I got it, It's just a matter of syncing it later to the footage.
What shotgun mic do you use?
I have a Rode VidMic Pro Plus.
Okay.
And that was genius at the time because when you turn on the camera, the microphone also turns on. And that sounds so basic, but a lot of, like back in the day, a lot of them had two different steps and you would forget. And it was a nightmare. And actually on this adventure, I'm testing out the Joby Wavo Pro.
Okay.
Which is a lot of fun because, I haven't made a change in years. And so it's fun to see like what other options, I love to test and play with all the gear.
Yeah, absolutely. I know exactly what you mean. Do you bring lights with you on the road?
I do have always like a backup small LED. But I do find just to keep it charged, and it's always like that one thing that I will leave at home if I have to, because I'm really sneaky. If I have to find a light, I just point myself towards the light.
Right, yeah.
So like hello. Oh, this arm is magic. Okay. So there's always like a street lamp and I'm like, I put my head a little like pointing up a little more to catch the light. Or, if you're in the house, you always go by facing the window. So I'm just kind of strategic.
Yeah, so strategically plan the shot. But sometimes you have a little light with you. Of course, that's another thing to charge, another thing to worry about, another thing to plug in.
And sometimes different batteries. But right now I'm using a really small one. I forget what it is, but it's so tiny and it charges USB-C. So.
Oh, that's great. I have a little Loom Cube that does that. That's really nice. It's really taking on the road. Anyway. So tripods are important, right? You carry a tripod with you, a couple tripods?
Absolutely. The tripod is my best friend. It's just nice to have an angle that's not a selfie. So it's like your arm is a cute shot when you can get it, but it's like I need options. So having a tripod. Now you have to be in a situation where you can whip the tripod out because then, you have to take time, and sometimes on a group tour, you cannot stop. So it depends when I can use it. but I love to have the tripod to get those selfie shots for Instagram, and also just like I'm walking by, I get little time lapses, I get to play with all the different features. So.
Is there a particular tripod you like for traveling that's just like, oh yeah, this is the one?
The Manfrotto Be-Free carbon fiber. Be-Free is their line of really small travel tripods, and carbon fiber is super tough, so it will never like get dented, or I haven't broken. You can't break that thing.
Is it light as well, or is it heavy?
Yeah, it's light, and it's about this long, and it folds up in itself. So you need a tripod that you'll actually take with you, and that's the tripod for me.
Yep. Cool. Nice. What about, you're on the road, you're out there, you've got, you're recording your audio here, you're recording your audio there, you're recording video on 2 cameras.
Uh-huh.
How do you manage all that media? Like, how do you save it and make sure that it's not going to go bad, or that it's stored so that you can access it when you want to start editing?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely take it home every night and download all the media twice, because if you forget, it just gets all disorganized, and then there's a little bit of risk. Like, what if the next day you ride a boat and like, I don't know, just anything could happen. So every night I download all the footage and then twice, and then wipe the cards. So that way I can start fresh the next day.
You download all the footage too. I assume you bring an iMac or something like that with you?
Yeah, I have a MacBook Pro, and then I bring SSD hard drives. They're really fast.
Oh,
They're
okay.
lightweight, they're fast, they're reliable. So SSD is the way to go.
You ever try to take stuff from that SSD and use the, over the internet, send it off to home to get another backup, or the cloud?
I don't often do that currently. Sometimes I find Wi-Fi while traveling is super fast and reliable, especially there's been a lot of countries I've been to that have good Wi-Fi, but then it's always like you're grateful to have your phone, which is always your backup Wi-Fi. And I'm often in a pickle when you're trying to upload, even if you have something due while you're on the road, like a client needs a video, and just trying to find fast Wi-Fi for uploading can be tricky. So my phone has often been a very helpful resource.
Yeah, exactly. Wi-Fi is so spotty everywhere. So how do you keep all this stuff charged? I mean, it's a lot of gear. It all needs to be charged up. You don't want to last thing you want is get out there and, oh my gosh, I don't have any more battery for my camera or anything.
Yeah. I mean, I always travel with, a battery. I have the big ones because it charges my laptop, because there's very few batteries on the market that are portable that you can travel with. And it's on my website, the Video Hustle.
Video Hustle.
Yeah, that's where I put all my favorite gear.
Okay.
And
what's your website?
thevideohustle.com is.
And what's your website?
Oh, but my travel website is TravelingJules.com.
Okay. Is that where all your gear is, or is it on Video Hustle?
The gear's on Video.
Oh, that's not the name of the battery. Sorry, I misunderstood.
Oh.
Like, that's a good name for a battery, though.
I was like, yeah, no, it's by Anchor, but I don't know all the exact details.
Anchor makes great batteries. I have one that's fat that I carry with me.
I have 2 different Anchor batteries that are large, and they charge my laptop, and they charge everything else. And I also travel with a smart suitcase, so I can power up when I'm on the go. So that's helpful. Especially my suitcase is wireless, so I don't have to get a cord out. I just put my phone in a little cubby, and it's charging.
Do you check your suitcase?
You cannot check your suitcase when you have a power bank.
That's what I was going to ask you about. I'm like, are you fooling the airlines or not?
That is the hardest thing about traveling with gear in general, is that you cannot check batteries. So anything you bring with a battery, whether it's a GoPro, whether it's a gimbal, whether it's all your extra batteries, you have to find a way to pack them in your carry-on. So it gets pretty heavy constantly.
Yeah, totally. All right. So let's talk a little bit about some tips and secrets and stuff like that. What is a couple top tips and secrets for you for getting just the perfect shot?
You really have to kind of stop and observe, because the world is so overwhelming and you're constantly like, oh my God, what's going on? You have to like really just take a step back and go, this is all going to be here in 5 minutes. Like, just think through it. And then you got to just go hardcore. I'm always rolling. I'm always thinking through, like, what's action? What's happening? Our pizza's being made and being put in the oven and coming back out. Like, what kind of things are repeating? That's always a good place to take. Where your eye takes you is where your camera should go.
Right. You mentioned one to me when we were talking beforehand about, was it the escalator trick?
Yes.
What's your escalator trick?
Yes. I ride the escalator all the time because it's kind of like a dolly shot, just looking over the edge. So I feel like sometimes you can get really high production quality by just putting something on a tree stump, or, just using nature to really like climbing up 5 flights of stairs to get to the top of a tower to look down. I mean, just little things like that make a huge difference in travel video.
Okay, so there you are. There's an escalator. It's a really big one going up into the sky. You set your tripod up on it and just that
would be funny. I would just probably hang over the edge with my gimbal or something.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, and you use cars as well? You try and get shots in cars or drive around?
I mean, yeah, like for me, I want people to feel like you're on an experience with me. So I like to show sort of like that, the back, like the edge of someone's shoulder and sitting in front of me. Or if I'm in a car, I like to show like an edge of like the car window as it's pointing out, because it gives you that point of view, like you're there. And I'll use depth of field to make it look pretty. So I'll definitely shoot like at a low aperture. So we're really not really noticing that person's shoulder or noticing the car. But I really want you to feel like that shaky handheld vibe of like, this is what you see when you're looking out the car window. Right.
And now you actually just mentioned a gimbal, which I did not talk to you about. What's the gimbal that you use and how do you get those Steadicam style shots?
I have a couple. I have a Manfrotto, a small gimbal that works for like my bigger cameras. And then I also have the DJI, the mini, because it's just so cute and little and it's so light. So I like having a couple options depending which camera gear I'm using.
Yeah, I've heard the DJI mini is really good. That could be my next big investment. We'll see. Is there one piece of gear that you take out on the road or that you use anywhere and you're like, this is like, you're going to have to pull it out of my cold, dead hand to get it away from me?
Oh my gosh. I mean, just my camera. I mean, I swear, if you ever see me, I have my camera within arm's reach. So just don't go anywhere without your camera because you never know what's going to happen. Like so many times I'm like, I'm just going to this grocery store and then suddenly something on the way happens that I want to capture, like I don't know, it's just fun to just be spontaneous. And I want to have my camera with me to tell stories.
Yeah, for a minute, I thought you were going to bring it on stage and put it right here. Like, where's the camera?
I almost did. I started. I'm like, give me.
How do you handle horizontal and vertical video? Do you shoot vertical video as well as horizontal?
That's a struggle. This whole like horizontal, vertical, because in my mind, I'm everything. But then in the moment, I have to choose. And I'm just like, what should I do? What's my goal? Because I do publish for YouTube, which is horizontal, and I do publish for Instagram, which is vertical. And I have to in the field just decide, because whenever I shoot 4K horizontal and cut in the middle, I know that's always a possibility. But a lot of times, like especially if I'm blogging, cutting in the middle of your face, it gets too big. I cannot get my arm any longer. So I'm like, so if I actually turn my camera and do a vertical take, it's much better for Instagram. Especially I shoot a lot with a wide angle lens because I want to not have the camera like in my face. So when you turn the wide angle lens sideways, it just really changes what you see.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's definitely like a dance between just being tricky in the field and then being a magician in the edit. Because some of your clips are now vertical and some of them are horizontal, but I always have everything.
Right, so let's talk about edit for a minute, because occasionally you upload stuff in the field, but mostly for you, it's bringing it back to the comfort of your own edit bay to put things together, right?
Oh, yeah. I love doing it myself. I've hired editors before. They've done a great job. But for me, it takes a lot of work to prepare them for the adventure they never went on. Yeah. And then I have to explain, like, this is what we did and this is important. And by that time, I'd rather just do it myself because it's like just the story edit is already for me, the edit.
Right. Now, what are you using to edit with? What's your gear? What's your rig for editing back in the ranch, as it were?
Oh, back at the ranch. Yeah. I'm all about, back at the condo, the downtown condo.
Okay. Downtown condo.
I'm all about Premiere Pro, and they have had so many amazing upgrades and updates, like just things work. And it's nice. Like my workflow has really improved lately because I no longer have to spend hours going through like the audio fine tuning, because there's audio tools that recognize this is music and this is dialogue. And I love to use like text-based editing and other things that make it easier to find. Hey, did I say the word Colorado? Like Google search inside of my Premiere Pro. Oh, I did say Colorado the third time. So use that take, right? So it's so much easier now. And it's helping keep up with the demand of content because people want it all the time, every day. It's insane.
It's the content monster. You got to feed the content. Sure. How do you think about packaging it up? What do you do to create thumbnails and titles and other things like that?
Don't use templates. Like Photoshop. I have a template that's always the Traveling Jules template. It's ready to go. I just drop in a photo background and maybe change the title. So that's easy. But I get in a struggle because then I want the vertical thumbnail, and now I have to find a different photo that like actually fits the different parameters. So this is constantly like, what do I do? I love this photo. I love this photo. And I just think that's one reason why I'm really leaning towards the wide angle shots a little more and just like backing up, because then when it's finally time to go to that thumbnail, I have the option to do the full body. I could do like a mid shot. I'm not just frozen at like really close face up or close up.
Close up
on your face.
Mr. DeMille.
Close up on your face. Yeah.
So how are you thinking about analytics? Are you an analytics nerd, or are you just like, I'm going to put it out there and see what happens?
I'm not an analytics nerd. I could improve in this area. But I just do it for the love. I produce because I want to produce. I'm not doing it for the algorithm. And I want to tell stories that matter and stories that you want to watch again. So for me, the art is way more the priority than whatever the algorithm is looking for.
All right. I like that. Yeah. Clapping over there. What's your posting cadence? How often are you posting?
It really varies. I have I'm juggling a lot of different clients. I work with brands like destinations. I work with travel brands, so people who are selling some product. And I also work with camera brands. So it really depends on like the launch patterns or the time of year. I don't have a real regular cadence because travel content is evergreen. So I love that idea that I can really spend time on the things that I want to, kind of like a documentarian does. I only launch it when I feel like I'm ready, like this is ready. Or I do feel pressure though when somebody tags me and I'm like, I have to make a story now because I have to tag them back, or whatever. But it is fun. It's fun to like interact with each other. So based on all of those deadlines, it really varies if there's some sort of social significance to the event, or if there's like a timeline for the things that we're working on seasonally.
Yeah. Now you talked about your clients. Who's doing your sales, or do you do all that yourself too?
I do sales.
Okay.
I do sales. And to me, sales is, I don't know. I love to go to these events and I love to meet people. So for me, I like to work with people that I like and brands that I like. So I do spend a lot of time going to in-person conferences, and it's really like relationship building, being able to know people. And I'm not really selling anything, but one day we might work together. So for me, it's really about relationships, and hopefully someday we find a way to create a project. Also, often there's not a project that like I can apply for. It's a matter of like developing some project that's like suiting both of our talents. Like, hey, like even NAB show, we noticed they didn't have a lot of social media content. So we pitched them this fun idea where we run around as the super fans that we are. And we pitched a project that is, I think, really fun. So it's really a matter of like inventing projects.
Cool. All right. So you've been running around the show floor. You've been doing some teaching and other stuff here. Is there one piece of gear you've seen here that you're like, oh, that's my next purchase. I want that?
Ooh, I cannot wait to walk the show floor. I've really
you haven't done it yet. Okay.
I've been hiding in my teaching area. But actually, I'm really impressed. My friend Ryan Grams, who's like more of a business partner and a best friend, but he has a booth this year.
Studio upgrade right over there.
It's just fun. It's just fun to see the potential. Like we're all here. We all belong here. We all have different connections, whether you're here as an attendee, whether you're an exhibitor, but there's just so much passion for what we do, and I'm really inspired by that.
Juliana Brosti, thank you very much. TravelingJules.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.